Midwinter-like temperatures have come back to the region. I'll show you when we may see a little snow with it coming up.
The important connection between your child learning how to play a musical instrument and their success in the classroom. Plus, tributes and praise pour in for the nation's 41st president as he lies in state at the Capitol Rotunda tonight. 10 at 10 starts right now.
WPSD Local 6, your breaking news and weather authority. This is Local 6 at 10.
People nationwide continue to pay their respects tonight to former President George H.W. Bush. The 41st president died Friday at his home in Houston, Texas at the age of 94. This is a live look tonight inside the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, where the former president is lying in state. His body arrived from Houston this afternoon. He will remain here until his state funeral on Wednesday. Earlier this evening, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump paid their respects to the late president. They stood in front of the casket for a few moments and briefly closed their eyes. President Trump then saluted as the First Lady placed her hand over her heart. The president plans to attend Bush's state funeral on Wednesday at the Washington National Cathedral. The president was absent from this ceremony earlier at the Capitol. Vice President Mike Pence was there. He led a wreath-laying ceremony and delivered a eulogy.
Today, on behalf of the First family and my family and the American people, we offer our deepest sympathies and respects to your family. And we thank you for sharing this special man with our nation and the world.
House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also spoke at that service. And tonight we're hearing from more local people who met President Bush when he visited Paducah. Bush came to our area in 1992 when he was on the campaign trail. As Local 6's Bryce Mansfield explains, there were a couple of people who had the special opportunity to meet the president when he visited our news station.
1992. President George H.W. Bush agreed.
Very personable and just down to earth.
John and Don's stories are almost a perfect match. I spoke with them today, but I also spoke with Congressman Comer and a few of our local leaders over the weekend. Todd, everyone I spoke to mentioned the former president's character, saying he believed in doing what was right and was extremely personable when they met him in person, a man who many say was an extraordinary man and one our nation still mourns tonight.
All right. Bryce, thank you. President Trump has designated this Wednesday, December 5th, a National Day of Mourning. In observance of the National Day of Mourning, you will not receive any mail. No mail delivery on that day. The United States Postal Service will suspend regular mail deliveries, retail and administrative activities. And here is how this week will pan out as we honor former President Bush. The memorial service Wednesday takes place at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. It's scheduled to begin at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. His body will then return to Houston, Texas, where he will lie in repose at St. Martin's Episcopal Church from Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Then a second funeral service will be held there at 10 a.m. Central Time. Bush will then be buried at the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library that's in College Station, Texas.
Now your weather authority first forecast.
Everybody tonight talking about how cold it is out there.
Yeah, having to get the winter coat out, the hats and gloves and everything for the kiddos. Where we could see a few snowflakes tomorrow, too, coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Jen, thanks. Continuing coverage at 10, you shared your comments, and in response, the person in charge of your child's education in Kentucky is reversing course on key parts of his proposal for high school graduation requirements. Education Commissioner Wayne Lewis announced those changes today. Now, under the new proposal, students would still have to demonstrate basic proficiency in reading and math, but students would not be required to meet standards showing they are ready for college or a career. Instead, the state will require students to meet one of 7 qualifiers that are not as strict as the previous proposal. Lewis called the final proposal a smaller step forward than the previous version.
We believe we've put together a proposal that honors that feedback, honors those comments, while still moves us forward in ensuring that as kids receive a Kentucky high school diploma, regardless of where that diploma is earned, that a kid is better prepared to be successful in post-secondary education and or the workforce than they would have been under our current minimum high school graduation requirements.
The Kentucky Department of Education is expected to vote on the proposed changes Wednesday. Government agencies may stay open at least through December 21st. House Republicans filed a motion today to extend that deadline for a possible government shutdown. Right now, the main sticking point in that budget deal is money for President Trump's border wall. The president wants $5 billion for that project. Democrats do not support that measure. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer and Representative Nancy Pelosi were supposed to meet with the president tomorrow to talk about the federal budget and ways to prevent a government shutdown. That meeting has now been postponed until next week. Well, take a look at this. The roof collapsed on part of a strip mall in Jacksonville, Florida today. No one was hurt. Firefighters say the collapse may have been caused by water from severe storms. It's back to school for students in Northern California after a deadly wildfire. About 32,000 students returned to class today for the first time in nearly a month. The fire destroyed or damaged several schools, so some had to use alternate locations. School leaders hope to have a long-term solution ready by next month. Nearly $800,000. That's how much lawyers for President Trump want Stormy Daniels to pay for suing the president for defamation. A judge dismissed the case in October. The president's lawyers told a federal judge in Los Angeles today their firm put in more than 500 hours on the case, and they are owed nearly $390,000 in attorney fees. Daniels' attorney objected.
This whole thing about this big attorney's fees issue today, it's a bunch of nonsense. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
The court's order constitutes total victory for the president and total defeat for Stormy Daniels in this case. The court heard oral argument today on the amount of fees to be awarded and will issue a ruling in the future.
The judge said today he needed more time to decide on the amount. Kentucky's largest privately owned company is getting some new owners. A statement from Thornton's says it is being sold to BP and private equity firm ArcLight Capital Partners. Louisville's gas and food mart giant has been growing rapidly. It has stores in Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Tennessee, and most recently, Florida. The Benton, Kentucky Police Department wants your help tonight to find Jonathan Danny Williams. The department posted these two pictures of him. Officers say Williams is wanted for questioning in connection to the death of Billy J. Lee. Lee was found dead Saturday at his home. If you see Williams, contact police. Do not approach him. And Marshall County Sheriff Kevin Byers and Chief Deputy David Maddox will talk about their response to the deadly school shooting at Marshall County High School with other sheriff's deputies. They're scheduled to speak at the Kentucky Sheriff's Association annual conference tomorrow. That event is being held at the Galt House in Louisville and continues throughout the week. We'll have a Local 6 crew there and have reports starting for you tomorrow at 5. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is getting $7 million in government grants to improve bus service in rural areas. Money will be used to replace vehicles, security cameras, maintenance equipment, among other things. In our area, Fulton County Transit Authority will receive more than $850,000 to buy 10 new buses and facility upgrades. And Paducah will receive another $850,000 for 2 new buses. It's part of more than $360 million in grant money given out all across the country from the Federal Transit Administration. A holiday display that's causing concerns and even 911 calls. Plus, how playing instruments like the violin might help your child succeed in other subjects at school. And a special gift that made Christmas very merry and bright for this woman.
Plus, tracking how long the colder weather will be sticking around and when we could see snow coming up after the break. You're watching Local 6 at 10.
Your breaking news and weather authority with Todd Faulkner, Jennifer Horbelt, Weather Authority Jennifer Rukavina, and Jeff Bidwell Sports. You're watching Local 6 at 10 in high definition.
Looking at, so unfortunately, kiddos, this one's not going to be impacting school. So I know that's a disappointment, but it will be impacting those trying to get out and do some Christmas shopping this upcoming weekend. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on it.
All right, Jennifer, thanks.
Yeah.
I've never experienced anything like this before. This is so beautiful. It's so bright. It's so pretty.
That woman in Washington State is seeing the lights of Christmas for the very first time. Tracy Searin is colorblind and couldn't fully enjoy holiday displays. That is until her best friend got her a pair of special glasses which helps colorblind people see color. Tracy says her son is also colorblind and she's also looking forward to letting him use her new glasses. Well, do you recognize this scene? It's from the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, one of my favorites. Homeowners in Austin, Texas used a mannequin as their own Clark Griswold. Apparently, it's a little too realistic. Police say at least a dozen people called 911 to report the mannequin. And look, this home security camera caught a veteran walking by thinking someone was in danger, jumped into action. He grabbed that ladder and starts to try to save the mannequin. The homeowners are trying to track down that vet and working to get him a gift card. The big change coming to a popular blogging site you might use. Plus, street artist Banksy is raffling off this piece of artwork, how the money will be used. And the connection between your child learning to play a musical instrument and improved brain power. That's next at 10.
You're watching WPSD Local 6.
Does your child play an instrument? Well, that might be helping him or her get ahead in school. Psychologists at the University of Southern California studied how learning music might affect brain development in children. 12-year-old Raquel Montoya has played violin with the
Music, it opens up their brain.
The Youth Orchestra is a free after-school program. Habibi is spreading the word about her study results, hoping they'll convince policymakers that music and the arts are just as critical as science and math are to children's learning. Microblogging service Tumblr says it will ban all adult content from its platform in 2 weeks. The company's CEO announced the change today in a blog post. It says it started sending email notifications out to affected blog owners today. Existing adult content will be set to a private mode, viewing only to the original poster. Happening around the world, street artist Banksy is raffling off this piece of artwork to support refugees. The Disneyland boat is from his temporary amusement park exhibition in 2015. For a chance to win, you have to donate at least $2.55 and guess how much the piece weighs. This popular attraction is no more. Crews removed the large red and white letters spelling I Amsterdam today. A political party voted to take down the attraction earlier this year because they say the slogan emphasizes individualism too much, whereas a city like Amsterdam should stand for solidarity instead. And a new kind of sake is ready at this brewery in central Japan in an annual rite to commemorate the completion. Brewers hoisted a massive cedar ball at their sake shop today. The ball measures about 3 feet across and tips the scales at nearly 180 pounds. Now for sports, college football news.
College football news indeed. SEC awards handed out, a bunch going to the Kentucky Wildcats. We'll have that coming up. Plus high school basketball tonight in Metropolis. We'll bring you some highlights from the City of Metropolis tournament. That's coming up next. You're watching WPSD Local 6 at 10. Final seconds. Preds trying to kill the final seconds, and they do just that. They get the win tonight at home over the Sabres. 2-1 is your final.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
Got it.
Let's get another check at the forecast before we say goodbye. Another cold night out there.
Yeah, don't forget the jacket. Tomorrow morning, temperatures be on the chilly side and struggling to get to that 40-degree mark tomorrow, but we should make it there on Wednesday with a little bit more in the way of some sunshine. Still watching that storm headed in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Trent will be in the morning to give you the latest.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. Thank you for watching WPSD Local 6 at 10.